All right, we're live. Good morning, everybody. Thank you guys for coming here for this live stream. This is an episode number 23 of the plug. It's been 23 of these that I've done. So it's also we're coming up at the end of the year, and I guess it's a time to kind of look back a little bit of on how things have been going, I guess, for the end of 2025. This year, at the beginning of this month, I think it was the third or the fourth, was actually my 4 year anniversary of being quote unquote a content creator here on YouTube. And oops, sorry about that. I think I had the mic way too far. Hey, sweet Polly, thanks for dropping in. Yeah, so it's been 4 years since I started putting videos up on YouTube. It's amazing how quickly time flies. Uh, thank you, Jeffro. Yeah, it's just to think back at when I first started doing this and not really having an idea of what I was going to do. Not that I do now, but at least I think I've found a rhythm of things that I like to do and kind of carved my own little niche in the community. Um, it's been interesting. I never would have imagined that I would be doing this for this long and consistently, I guess, I mean, to a certain point. I know I take long breaks between periods. Hey, Bud Files, thanks for coming in. But it's been one of those experimenting with different types of things that to try to share content here on YouTube. I've always told you I'm not gonna do a lot of the true and tried things that have been done here on YouTube just because most people do it a lot better than I do. Um, and I can't really talk on stuff that I've haven't either experienced or done. I just to me that doesn't provide any value for you. Uh, hey, ¿qué pasó, Mixpes, Goldfish, Aquarios? ¿Cómo estás? Gracias por estar aquí. Un saludo fuerte para ti y tu familia. Muchas felicidades y feliz Navidad para ti también. Hey, small time, thanks. And in the course of trying to figure out what it is that I wanted to do here on YouTube, I've been kind of finding stuff that I think suits me and I guess my personality in a way. Um, you know, I've been really enjoying the collaboration live streams that I do with Aquafunk. Um, he's kind of the person responsible. If you guys want to hate on anybody for me being here on YouTube, it's his fault. I'm gonna let you know right off the bat. He's the one that kind of convinced me to to start doing videos. I've been like a lot of you guys consuming YouTube for a long time, watching content on YouTube for quite some time. But it wasn't until about 4 years ago that finally build up the courage that decided to post my very first video. Um, and so that kind of snowballed, and I guess the biggest thing of all of this, excuse me, is the friendships that you start making and creating while doing this. And and that's invaluable. I mean, that to me is the thing that really keeps me wanting to do this, and it's the watching other peers um succeed also. And like I said, my whole thing of all of this is I believe in community. I really do, and I think I do my part in trying to grow our community. I'm a true believer in the more the merrier. Um, I know that we all have different takes on things and stuff like that, so that also adds value to what we do. Uh, hey, Kyle, thanks for dropping in. Scotty, thanks for coming in. And well, today, like I said, is this is one of these projects that might have started. I want to say it's on its second year that I started kind of doing this. Hey, Jesse. Yeah, I'm still here. I don't know why people keep thinking I'm gone. I know Nick in my tanks keeps saying that I'm gone to TikTok. I just been doing something different in TikTok. That's all. It's a different platform, so it allows me to do something different that I don't normally do here. As some of you guys know, I'm bilingual, so TikTok grants me the opportunity to focus more on the Spanish content and that aspect of it. Um, Although once in a while I'll do stuff here. Um, Again, Funk has been really pushing me to do uh, a lot of the um, beginner guides. I don't do those in English because there's so many people that have done them and they do them so well. But I guess there is a necessity for some of it in Spanish, so that might be a route that I might take if I decide to do the beginner guidelines or how tos, or I don't know what you want to call them, the informative videos. If I do anything like that, it'll definitely probably be in Spanish, just because there might be a void in that market more than anything else. Uh, so that would be that. But uh, the whole idea of the plug actually started with on one of the live streams with Kyle. Um, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, and the concept and the name of this, what do you want to call it, podcast, live stream, or I don't know what category you would put this in, really originated from a live stream on Kyle, or somebody mentioning s- some. No, sorry, wrong. I know what it was. It was on Eddie's Vibes, because he had made some stickers that were something about a plug, and I asked Eddie. I remember now. I was getting my wires crossed. I remember asking Eddie if he was going to do anything with that other than the stickers, and he didn't really have any plans for it. So I kind of uh, took the name. I won't say stole, because uh, I did uh, I did ask him, and just kind of went with it, and it just worked out perfectly. I'm at work. I'm working on a trade with a guy to get some neons tetras. Hopefully, it goes through. Yeah, you asked me if it was actually cool. Yeah, I remember I kind of did reach out to a couple of you guys, and kind of played with that idea, um, just so that it was okay. I know it was what I know there was an involvement with Kyle and also Eddie, because he had some stickers that were made. And I think Fathom Aquatics is the one that had those stickers designed, if I'm not mistaken. But it's one of those things, again, with the community, um, where we will kind of bounce ideas off of each other. I'm gonna start called the wires crossed now. That's fine, not a problem. Uh, and and it kind of played it into what something that would allow me to kind of um, pay back some of the opportunities that were given to me when I was starting out. It would serve two purposes: not only be able to pay back some of the generosity from other content creators, but also allow me to um, help you discover new. It was totally random. About Sorry about that. No, that's no problem. As a matter of fact, I'm glad you're here because we're going to talk about you today. I don't know if you got the notification or not, but in the description of this live stream, if you go check on the more, click on the more and it'll open it up. You'll see there's 7 channels in there. And those are the 7 channels that I'm going to be talking about today. And hopefully the hyperlinks are working today. I checked them a couple of times to make sure. So those should be up and running and should be able to get you to these channels. Sole purpose of that is because a lot of the times, not always, a lot of the channels that I talk about are relatively small or just beginning. So it's really difficult to find them if you go searching for them. Sometimes you just won't be able to find them. They get so buried down in in the in the search uh, section that, or the names are just way too common or similar to other ones, and the bigger channels are always going to come up first. So by providing the hyperlink, that should give you the ability to be able to click on that and take you directly to their channel. And the channels that I'm going to talk about today are pretty interesting because they're pretty different. Um, there always are, but these are kind of they all have their own take on what they're doing, and I I find a lot of this stuff pretty interesting. And again, it's another way to be able to find more people that are doing what we're doing, and be able to expand the circle of friends that we have. And hopefully some of you guys will go and check these out. If you like what they're doing, make sure you guys give them a sub, and make sure you turn on your notifications so that you can follow along with whatever it is that they're sharing with you on this platform. um, which is the whole reason why we start really doing stuff on YouTube, is because we want to share, whether it's our personal experiences, or we want to share the information that we have, or we want to share the projects that we're working on. But either way, it's always more exciting when you're doing it with the community instead of you being on an island by yourself. And it's just, there's a lot of commonalities in what we do that we can kind of root for each other. I'm still nervous to go on camera, and that's fine, Polly. Um, some again, this is not to beat a dead horse on this one, but Flo the flower horn, they never came on camera, and yet they were one of the biggest channels for the longest time. You don't have to be on camera. It takes a while. It takes a while. It does take a little bit of I guess narcissism, if you want to call it that. That you don't mind looking at yourself, and I'm going to tell you what the most difficult thing is: to get up in front of the camera and pretend like you're talking to an audience when there's nobody in the room with you and you're filming a video. That does wear down. It does fade with time. Uh, it's taken me about 4 years where I don't even think about it. I have the face for radio. Hey, nobody said I had the face for camera, but yet I'm still here. Um, and and now it's I don't even really think about it. I still do get a little bit nervous out in public. Uh, our our friends in this group is so powerful to build channels. YouTube is a huge. You need some friends to start that signal for YouTube to pick up. Yeah, exactly. I don't do lives either. I don't feel big enough. You know what? Don't worry about that. Nobody starts doing lives when they're big. Everybody starts, even your biggest channels, Aquarium Co-op, King of DIY, what is it? John and Lisa. What's their channel name? I forget what. KG Tropics, Primetime Aquatics. They didn't start off big either. They started no different than us. They started posting videos, and slowly, one video at a time, started creating their own community, and been growing. But you got to remember, they've been doing this for more than 10 years too. So they've got a quite a bit of a head start on us. But for us, that should be motivation. It should be motivation and a demonstration that if you are persistent and you are, hey, Coral, long time no see, man. Thanks for being here. And 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 just just share whatever you want. Your videos are a prime example of just sharing what you're doing in your fish room. Small time. So with that being said, let's get into some of these channels because I know that's what you guys have been here. I've just kind of been rambling on, making no sense, but that's part of the course here. Uh, I was in Brampton's live stream for the 1K, I think. Yeah. Let's see. I think I remember that. Okay. So the very first channel that I got want to talk to you guys about today is Jimit Fry Daddy. Uh, Again, uh, here's the problem when I start doing these. Um, Sometimes I'll forget that where I came across these channels or how I came across these channels, and this one in particular is one of them that I can remember. Um, how I found Jimit's channel. I don't know if it was on a comment that they might have left on one of my videos. I know he he mentions Shamu Aquatics. So I don't know if it was watching one of Shamu's videos. That's okay. Here's the other thing that I do. I'm I guess a quote unquote a bit of a stalker. And the reason I say that is because I watch a lot of other people's videos. And one of the things that I've figured out to discovering new channels besides me purposely looking for them on YouTube, in the search engine or not the search engine, but the algorithm, is I'll go look at people's comments. Like for example, Kyle that's here in outside in aquatics. If he posts a video, I'll go look at all the comments, right? And I'll start looking for the names that I don't recognize. And the ones that I now the and this is something that recently I guess YouTube did where you can click on that person's name and it'll take you to their channel, which I really love. So I'll start looking. The first thing I look at is avatars and channel names. If the avatar has anything to do with this hobby, I automatically click on it. And that's almost guaranteed that it's going to be somebody that's either into fish or is got a fish channel. So I automatically subscribe even if they don't have any videos. And the reason is because most of us, when we don't start the YouTube channel for the sole purpose of creating videos. At least I haven't come across any of us that has done that. That doesn't mean they're not out there, but the majority of us um, start doing or start up a channel just to be able to watch stuff. And then we start getting that itch or that inclination to go, yeah, maybe I can do something similar to that. And so that's why even if the person doesn't have any videos or content, that doesn't mean that I can't subscribe to them because maybe in the future, maybe a year down the road or a few months down the road or whatever, they decide to post. And right now with the the ability to do shorts, that has been uh that has been a good starting point for a lot of people like Polly that is not comfortable with being in front of a camera. It says, Coro, miss you, Jorge. Been busy actually at work right now, but I had to stop. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And a happy Christmas Eve to you too. I started a channel for fame and glory. Yeah, right, Kyle. Of all people, you. Uh, you know, uh, but no, it's just one of those things where I'll go in there and I'll look, and a lot of the times I'll find some channels where they have maybe a couple of shorts that they put up, and I'll follow them. It's it in in all honesty, it's kind of self-serving to be honest, because now I've got a new channel that I can watch as they grow, and the other one it gives me content because now I can talk about them on a live stream like this. So aloha, what are you in Hawaii, Alex? Well, aloha to you too, if that's where you're at. Much better, I guess, than being in Georgia right now because it's cold down there. Uh, so it's been one of those things where um, I've really have enjoyed doing this, um, and it's been cool because I get to make new acquaintances that will eventually become friends. Hey, Warren, thanks for being here, man. And and it's also allowed me to discover new people that are out there. And it's also been really cool because it's opened me up to knowing people from other parts of the world, like Warren. Um, he's not from the States. Who else in here right now? Hey, KJ. Um, right now I think he's the only one that's not from the States, but I've gotten to meet Mal, who's from the UK. I mean, there's several people from the UK I've met. I've met people from Australia, Africa, some of the Spanish speaking language countries, which like the Dominican Republic, obviously Mexico, Spain. I've by doing this has allowed me to connect with them and be able to do stuff with them. So that experience in itself, nobody's ever going to be able to take away from me. And that's really really cool. Now with auto translate, it's opened up a whole different regions of the worlds where it allows me to watch people's content where I used to not understand what they were saying. Now I can hit the auto translate and at least it'll put the captions, and now I have an idea as to what they're talking about. I was watching just yesterday, last night. I came across a channel from the from Ukraine of all things, and really interesting. Aquariums almost sounds exactly like aquariums in the Ukraine language, which I thought that was kind of interesting. And buffer, I guess, doesn't translate because he was talking about using buffer substrate to buffer the pH, and that's what he said, buffer. So it's like it's interesting when you come across other languages and the words don't there's no translation for the word, so they just say what it is. Mexico has a lot of that stuff too. Hey, convict, thanks for coming in. Nick, thank you for being here. And so again, I've been delaying this. Let's go check out Jimit's channel. Let me bring this up in here, share screen. All right. You guys should be able to see this. This is the first channel I wanted to talk about. Again, I think I might have either come across one of his comments on Shamu's videos. If Jimit sees this, he'll probably be able to figure out when how I kind of came across this channel, because you typically what happened is I'll watch a video and leave a comment. Um and that's how I let people know that I've kind of been watching their stuff. But Jimit Fry Daddy, uh he's got 62 subscribers, which has actually gone up from when I first found his channel, because when I came across the channel he had 49. He's got 97 videos. um let's see what he has for his description. Basically is just he has a Discord channel that he wants to share with you guys. He joined, and that's obviously YouTube, not necessarily when he started doing content in 2013. And s- just slowly but surely he's been plugging away. He's been busy. I mean, he's been putting out videos um, on a regular basis. As we can see here, he's got a video that he just dropped yesterday. And really what he's doing, he's basically just sharing what he does in his room. I mean, he's inadvertently, I guess, or intentionally have bred some fish. I would say intentionally, because he actually placed a couple of um those mops, breeding mops, in a 125 where he has a bunch of barbs, and left it there for a week, pulled it out, put it in a different tank. I think it was like a little breeder's box. And lo and behold, he started getting fry from there. Not in big quantities because he wasn't aware that there was any eggs on there, but nonetheless, he was pretty excited that he did that. Now I guess he's going to be more purposely or more intentionally trying to breed some of the barbs that he has. But if I'm not mistaken, he doesn't have a whole lot of tanks. He's got a few of them. Um, that he's definitely has a 125 because this is like his this is his big community tank. You guys can see all those barbs in there. The golden barbs look really, really good. Those Denison barbs are also there's the barbs are a species that I really hadn't played around with until really like midway through this year because I was given a bunch of them, and I'm starting to grow an interest in them. I've always had like the tiger barbs, but I'm talking about the other barbs. I was lucky enough to have some golden barbs, some checkered barbs. Ended up buying 3 rose lines, and I'm really enjoying the movement. It's the one aquarium that's probably the busiest of all the aquariums that I have, and so that might be a direction that I really go in and really set up uh, just the barb tank of the barbs that I've been enjoying. But yeah, this is Jim's channel. Mexico also has it on hand and body gestures. I'm pretty sure use trio. Oh, tios have a language of their own. Yeah, they do. We do speak with our hands and body and everything. That's always uh, something that we tend to do. Let's see. Alex says, Feliz Navidad. Hey, Don, thanks for coming in. Asia, thanks for being in here. Jay, how you doing, man? Feliz Navidad. Let's see. Who else has come in? KJ, thank you for being here. Uh, Fathom says he's always enjoyed the barbs that he's had. Yeah, they're for. I guess it's one of those things where, and I know I've talked about this before. It seems like fish will go through a trending trend period, and I guess right now it's just I guess for a while there, barbs might have been like the the most common thing for a while, and they just kind of passed out of that phase. Hey, Jose, how you doing? And but I guess eventually they'll come around. But they're staple in the hobby where you can go. Most of these fish you can find at any either big box store or definitely a local store where you're gonna find at the very minimum you're gonna find tiger barbs. You're gonna find rosy barbs. You will definitely find golden barbs. Those are always going to be and cherry barbs. Ooh, how can you forget about cherry barbs? So those will almost be like regular staple fish, kind of like neon tetras and guppies and platies and all mollies. So, but yeah, I've kind of really enjoyed them. And they're currently in that 75, and I think that's what it's going to stay as. I'll remove the other fish that are not from the Asia region of the world and kind of leave it as my quote unquote Asian tank or Asian inspired tank, I guess it would be because they're not, some of these are from India, some of them are from um, uh, what are the parts, Indonesia, different parts of the world where you'll find some of these barbs, but they're still like within the Asian continent. But yeah, that's Jimit's. Like I said, he's got. Let's see what he's working with. He's got some videos. I don't think he's. Let me go back to his original channel. He's got videos and shorts. Videos. It looks like he started posting videos about 2 years ago. Let's going back 2 years. Let's see how far back it goes. 3 years ago. Yeah, about 3 years ago, into March 2022 was the very first video that he uploaded, and it's something to do with shrimp. So again, he just goes around showing you some of the stuff. He even has like some home improvement stuff that he's done. Um, I guess he's got family that plays sports. Just sharing everyday life. and part of his hobby. So that's what you're gonna find on his channel. And you know, they're some of these videos are actually pretty long, but it's just him talking through what he's doing and some of the stuff that's been happening on real, like, I mean, sharing almost kind of like a vlog of your aquariums is kind of what he does. So that's Jimit's Fry Daddy. Make sure you go check it out. And if you like what he's doing, make sure you guys give him a like and a follow. So that's his channel. Now the next one that I want to talk about. Wait up, is that in the right section? No, here's where I want to go. Let's see. It's lazy. At 1Z lazy underscore waters, if I'm not mistaken. Nope. I don't think it's going to come up if I do that. Come on. Wrong one. There we go. Yeah. Here we go. Lazy Waters. Lazy Waters has currently 728 subscribers, 73 videos. So he's actually almost picked up well, no, not quite. He picked up about for 30 subscribers from when I found his channel. Hopefully we'll be able to help him out a little bit with that. On his more section, let's see what he's talking about. He says, "What's up? Grateful you are here and that you love fish. Hit the subscribe and like to support me. I appreciate you. If you want 10%." So I guess he's yeah, it's one of those things. Once you hit about 300 subscribers, Higer will hound you to promote their stuff. But that's fine. I guess his name's Kyle. Kyle loves fish. So we have another Kyle in the community, if that's really his name. But yeah, recently I guess he's been doing a lot of stuff with product reviews for Higer. Um, it looks like he's just been doing full length videos. He hasn't done any shorts, which is interesting. Um, on his videos, it's pretty good video quality. Um, he's got a little bit more sense as to what he's doing. Uh, Again, it's just kind of sharing some of the things that he's doing in his fish room. Uh, he does a little bit more of care guides or species spotlights um, of the fish that he actually keeps, which is always good. And you know that because these are not stock images. Um, this is how I found him. I remember now. I was looking at the Starry Nights cichlids, considering trying to get information if I was going to be able to get into if I wanted to keep such a species, because with them, there's this thing where they're like either hyper aggressive or they actually make good community fish, and I was really trying to get information, and I think when I was searching for it, that's how I came across his channel, because that's the very first video I watched was on the Madagascar cichlid or the Starry Night. The Higer Classic Trap. Do all the work for them for pennies on the dollar. I guess. I mean, but call it good or bad or whatever. At a certain point, it, I can understand why people do that. I remember when they reached out to me, I was like, oh, cool. Now I'm going to be able to get some products that I might be able to use. In not only in my fish room or my aquariums, but also it's an easy video that you can do. I mean, it's just do a product review. The only downside to it is that it's not a true product review, and the reason I say that is because you never see the bad reviews, and there's a reason for that. Uh, Although I know they're trying to change. I don't know if their quality is going to change, but Higer is reaching into different markets. they're a little bit late to the party, I guess, but now they have like a whole planet subsection for Planet Aquariums where they're even messing around with CO2 regulators, substrates, uh, root tabs. They're really trying to get their hands into that market, which is kind of interesting. I've only seen one review on the substrate, and it wasn't very favorable. It wasn't good at all. But that's only one review that I've seen. I get decent views from husbandry videos. Yeah, I mean, again, it's one of those things where if you're gonna do content, just be honest with yourself. What it is that you're trying to accomplish. If you're looking just to share it and maybe find a community, then just post whatever you want. If your goal is to become YouTube famous, then you got to do something totally different and spend a lot of money and the fall into the doing the clickbait thumbnails and just really being out there and but that's if that's what you want to do, that's fine. That's all fair game. uh you know I'm not going to sit here and criticize you for doing that. uh, Everybody has a different goal that they're trying to achieve. I just choose to encircle myself with people that are more like-minded like me, which is most of you guys. I just want to be able to uh, share whatever it is that I'm doing. And lately, it really hasn't been a whole lot, so that's why I haven't been putting out a whole lot. Um, but that's okay because when I do have something to say or do, then I'll just do a video for it. And that's it. I'm pretty happy with my situation and how things are working out, and um, the things that I've taken away from doing this. They are perfect. I'm perfectly fine with that and very happy with what I've been able to achieve. So, yeah, it doesn't matter what you do, just share it. You just never know what people are gonna really gravitate to, unless you put it out there. But yeah, lazy waters. Obviously, he's into cichlids, as we can see, or at least he started out his channel really being heavily on cichlids. Um, a lot of it is just talking about the cichlids that he has, what he's learned about them, just regular information on that. At some point, I guess he started playing around with more community tanks. Excuse me. Ah, I don't want to sneeze. I don't think I can help it. Hold up. Sorry about that. It's never just one. Excuse me. Hopefully, I didn't blow out anybody's eardrums. Sorry about that. And so yeah, I guess you can see the evolution of where he started going, focusing heavily on the cichlids that he was keeping. Apparently, it's he also started doing like a community tank, and it looks like it's 125 that he has set up as a community tank. And now he starts talking about some of the fish that he has in there, and kind of showing you. I guess he was going to build the tank from the ground up, so you can see the evolution of that. He's got a little desk tank that he's doing. So these are all videos. I really haven't had a chance to take like a deep dive into his channel. The last video that he put up was 3 days ago, where he's talking about rabbit snails. Um, he's trying to breed plants and stuff like that, and also, uh, I guess he's doing a little bit of aquaponics, which I think most of us have tried at one point or another, whether it's for food or just growing houseplants. Kind of what I'm doing now with the tanks behind me. It's one of those things where we're always trying to figure out and experiment with stuff. So this is his channel. Again, he's only done um, videos. For the his it says on here he started up, or at least he's been on YouTube since 2019 March. He's got 73 videos. He's gotten quite a bit of views for the time that he's been doing this. The very first video was put out 5 years ago. So okay, so that jives. He's ever since he started up, he's pretty much started up the channel as his content creation. So for 5 years, I'm surprised that um yeah, I think if he should be doing a little bit better than that. Because his videos are pretty interesting. I think it's one of those things where for some reason he hasn't found his community yet. And hopefully we can help him get there. So go check out his channels and you know, and give him a look. If you like what he's doing, make sure you guys give him a sub and hopefully he's not that far off from 1,000 subscribers. He's at 728 now. Yeah, I found him at 697, which probably about a couple of months ago. Man, it's got to be at least the beginning of summer when I started thinking about looking at Starry Nights and possibly doing that in the 150 that I had that I've gotten rid of now. So I'm definitely not doing that. Not anytime soon. But that's the other channel that's on there. Mexican Fish Keeper, love your channel, always speaking the truth, helping others do well, my friend. Hey, how you doing, G man? Thank you for being here. Hey, Ryan. Top Fin, jump into the chat. Uh, who's Top Fin? Did I miss somebody? Let's see. Did I miss somebody coming in? Because I've been looking at the other screen. No, I think everybody's here. Agreed, Ryan. It's always cool to see the big guys rub elbows with the rest of us. Okay, I must have missed somebody. I did notice that you, especially compared to other platforms, you go much further. And well, I like you know where I haven't really been for a while there. It used to, before it was TikTok, it was all Instagram and YouTube. But ever since the beginning, I've been interested in why the platforms don't commingle. Oh, okay, Top Fin Food Company from Canada. At the shop lurking. Hey, Funk. Yeah, Funk right there is a person. If you want to blame somebody for for me being on YouTube, it's his fault. So go at him. Uh, I've always found it fascinating how there's always big communities. Obviously, Facebook was the very first one, and then YouTube as being the biggest fish communities that I remember when I started. And then discovering Instagram had a big community, and now TikTok. Uh, TikTok, though, I'm starting to peel back some layers, and I'm finding out that it can be interesting. It could be very interesting, depending on where you wanna hang out, and I'm not even talking about, uh, the obvious stuff. I'm talking about the fish community side of it. I don't see it so much on the English speaking side of the community, but I'm learning more and more about the Spanish speaking side of the community and some of the dynamics that take place that are very interesting. They're interesting to me because I'm from the outside looking in. So, but my whole thing was, why are we not tapping into all these communities? It doesn't necessarily mean that everybody that follows you on either of these platforms are going to come and follow you at YouTube. Um, but I'm a true believer that if you get one person, that's the one person you didn't have before, and that's always been my thing ever since I started my channel. And Funk will let you know that I've always been talking about other um, crossing platforms and trying to pull people or move people from one to the other. And I've had a little bit of success with that. I've made some some friends on the other platforms that are follow me here, um, and vice versa. Uh, so it's I used to be like, I'm not going to waste my time doing all that stuff for a short time, but then I said, why not? I mean, I'm already doing. If you're already putting out a video or you're doing a short, it makes no sense that you're not putting them out on those other platforms because it's just now they're all kind of you can take that same footage and just put it on there. Like for TikTok, they have that AI called CapCut. You could take the same short that you posted on YouTube, plug it in there, let it do its thing. You might, if you want to change the song that it picked for you, but it'll be a different vibe to that video. And it just I'm seeing what I am seeing, and I don't know if it's just because I recently started paying attention, but I'm seeing some of the more established channels from YouTube kind of dipping their toes also into TikTok. Not full blown, but kind of playing with the idea of what'll happen in those platforms. So if you're starting out, take advantage of that. I try cross-platform when I have time, but it's not often. Yeah, I know. I've seen some of the stuff you've commented on some of my videos on, especially on TikTok. Um, but when I start, you stare, just journey trying to cross you. Yeah, that's how I kind of started. It's similar to that. It wasn't necessarily trying to bring fish across, but I was trying to start the fish club culture because there isn't a fish club culture in Mexico. I think there's one or two fish clubs, but they're strictly saltwater and it's a little bit different. And it's interesting to watch that too because uh especially saltwater, it's kind of a I don't want to yeah, I guess I have to call it what it is. Call a spade a spade. It's kind of the elitist hobby because it's expensive. The hobby in itself is pretty expensive. You start dealing with saltwater, it gets way more expensive. I don't care. People are always trying to convince me it's not that much more expensive. But here's the thing with saltwater. Yeah, saltwater, you can do it on the cheap if you just set up fish and live rock only kind of setup, a fowler tank. Yeah, you can do that. But nobody that starts in saltwater wants to start in saltwater just to keep some rocks and some fish. You you get attracted to saltwater because of the different fish species and the corals. At the end of the day, that's really what it boils down to. So once you start going down that road, that's where the price starts really ramping up really quick. They have a lot more gadgets they like to play with. They have skimmers, sumps, dosers, and it's just it can quickly um, uh, start increasing in pricing. Just even buying some of the corals for those saltwater tanks. So yeah, it's kind of like the elitist people that are in that fish club. Hey, Dee Janet, 23 watching for the plug 23. Hey, cool. Um, that's pretty good. I tried it 20 years ago and it was expensive then as one of the reasons why I got out of the hobby. Now I'm back and it's freshwater only. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, if you can make freshwater extremely expensive if that's what you choose to do. You can buy these low iron aquariums and set you back you know easily $300-400 if not more depending on the size and at that range of $300 to $500 it's not even a huge tank. We're talking maybe like 40 gallons or less and you'll be paying that money easily for that. And then you start getting into some of the lights. um Lights are gonna what was it, like Kessel lights are like $800 or something like that. It's insane. I mean, yeah, you could really do it up real quick, jack up the price when it comes to even the freshwater side. But if you do like the stuff that I do, It's relatively inexpensive. It just you could do it expensive or you can do it like I did, but it's gonna take you the 4 years that I've been doing this. It's just it's one of those take it slow and steady, and eventually you'll be able to do some of that stuff. Now I'm at the point where I've been fortunate, but again, it's been 4 years of keeping planted tanks that I've been able to build up, like a stock of plants that I can take from one tank to another and be able to do setups. Sweet Polly says, "I'm keeping it pretty simple. It's just more the fun for me that way." Yeah, and you're gonna go through these ebbs and flows, um, especially when you get into this hobby, especially if you get into the content creating side of the circle where uh you're gonna start seeing, oh shoot, if I have one tank and I can do this many videos. If I have two tanks, I can do twice as many videos, or I can do uh, you know, X amount of videos if I had more tanks. And before you know it, you're building a fish room, and then that fish room starts off with maybe a rack of of 6 or 8 tanks, and that grows into 16, and then before you know it, you have a fish house, and you're gonna get to the point where it's like, holy smoke! Now I don't even have time to do videos because I'm so busy doing all these water changes and doing all this stuff, and then you start scaling back, and that's kind of where I'm at. I fell into that trap, not unintentionally. I mean, I was doing it because I wanted to try my hand at uh at um at breeding stuff. But if you're gonna do it right, you do need to have the time and dedicate it to it. Um and and the most important thing is you got to have a way to offload what you're making. Um and which is what I quickly ran into, that it was gonna cost me money to get rid of fish. And I was like, no, that doesn't make any sense. Not only am I spending money to make these, now I'm having to spend money to get rid of them. Whether it was through shipping or even having to drive. That's the problem for me. I don't have a local fish store in close proximity, so I either had to drive 3.5 hours east or 3.5 hours west. Um, and the reality is, if I really was being honest with myself, with all the money into feeding, utilities, and all of that, at the end of the day, whatever store credit I got, really didn't cover uh, a third of the investment. What I was doing, I was just doing it because I enjoyed it, and it gave me an opportunity to learn and try my hand at it. It's something I'll definitely revisit once, maybe when I retire. That'll be my thing that keeps me wanting to get up every day and do something different. So who knows? But right now, I've kind of pretty much downsized it to what's right behind me. I do have 4 other tanks that are kind of on the other side, which I really need to build the rack for those to make it more permanent. I do have this big void back here that um, I'm going to set up another rack in there for the the what is it, the 33-gallon cube that I have. It's kind of I guess it would be like a 10-gallon front profile, whatever that is. It's like it's not 20 inches, or I think it's like 20 inches instead of the 24 of 20-gallon. Unless I can get with it and flip my door. If I can, right now, the door that I have in the garage to access the outside opens in. If I can flip it to open out, then I can put a bigger rack in that area back there, and that would open it up for. I think, yeah, I think I would be able to fit the 55s that are on this side and have it all just behind me, and that'll pretty much be what my fish room consists of. But that's getting off topic. Okay, so we talked about lazy water. Let's go to the next channel, which is aquatics and exotics. And as the name implies it, this is the channel that has a little bit more of a diverse Aquatics Exotics. Um, you know, he keeps not only fish but also I believe reptiles and stuff like that. Yeah, there it is. All right. So aquatic and exotics. He has currently 284 subscribers with 250 videos. So he's been pretty busy. Some of those might be shorts because he does post shorts on that. Um, again, this is somebody else with a. He's gonna have not only have tanks, but he's gonna have terrariums more likely for his creatures. So let's look at his description under the more. He says fish keeping and exotic animals are features aquascaping, fish room, tank tours, DIY fish keeping, and DIY tanks. Enclosure tips, product reviews, everything and anything aquatic. Also, some exotic animals such as sugar gliders and bearded dragons. Don't know what sugar gliders are. Sounds like a turtle, but I don't know. Could be wrong. He's obviously here in the States. Started last year. Last year, January 25th is when this channel, I guess, was created, which is pretty good then. Again, 284. He's actually been doing pretty good because when I came across his channel, he only had 139. So he's really been plugging away. He's got 214,000 views, which is really good, especially for a year. That's really, really good. So let's go take a look at his channel. Again, this one, I am trying to remember how I found his channel. And I don't know if it was, I'm trying to see if I can recognize the video. That might have done it. Tank by tank tour. Yeah, I guess it must have been the tank tour. He does have one here that's a little bit clicky. Fish room emergency. Don't do what I did. That might have been a video. I don't. I'm thinking it might have been just. I'm always a sucker for platy tanks. Um, so this might have been the video that it might have just popped up. But this could easily be a channel that just kind of popped up on my algorithm because I was looking for smaller channels. Again, he's got a few tanks, you know, very similar to what a lot of us are doing. With the difference that he's got a few um, other types of enclosures. So yeah, this is this looks like a 20-gallon. He's running some CO2, and I can tell because he's got the drop checker in there. Not the drop checker, but the little thing that changes colors. I forget what that's called. Uh, you can see that the glass stem for the CO2 is back in there. Although looking at some of these plants, I don't see anything that would maybe that the red what is that cardinal plant might need some of that CO2. But you know, that's something that maybe down in the future I might play around with. So that's yeah, something I was definitely watching something about the platies. I don't know why it's um but but yeah, that's he's got a few videos, the shorts. Let me see what's over here on the shorts. You can kind of tell us so he has some discus, some bettas, looks like some flower horns, electric blue acara. So he's also has some of the he's got some axolotls. Looks like he's got a little outdoor pond somewhere on the property. Um, some he's got an Oscar. Oh, he has some salt water from what I can tell. He's got an eel here, unless it's a store tour. What is this? Okay, he went out to check out an aquarium. So yeah, so I guess the sliders are the turtles because I did see some turtles right over here. Where were they? They were kind of stacking on top of each other. I could have sworn I seen the video with turtles. It might have been. Oh, here they are. Spectacular aquatic. Oh no, this is also at the aquarium. Okay, let's see. I need to go back to the comments because he's also doing some product reviews. The standard product reviews that a lot of us will do, and that's pretty good. So that's kind of his channel there. I haven't um, really done a really deep dive on his channel. I've seen a few of his videos, but it's obviously something I need to go back and watch. As far as being active, last video was about 2 months ago. I mean, 2 months ago, 2 weeks ago. So he's still pretty active. He's setting up a planet tank for his betta. So that's his channel here. Let me go back to see if I'm missing anything in the comments. It's warm here too. 30. It's almost 30 degrees. Oh, you guys are gonna hate me if I tell you it's Christmas Eve. And the only reason it's the temperature it is because we had some rain yesterday and we still have a lot of cloud coverage. But we're sitting here at 67 degrees. 67 Christmas Eve. That's the reason why I'm wearing a t-shirt and shorts. Um, yeah, we have been having a really, for our standards, a mild Christmas. But it's not uncommon. I think last year was kind of the same thing, and almost after the 25th or the 26th, it really started. Well, for us, it started getting cold. And what I mean by cold, we were like in the lower 50s. And yeah, that's our winter. And then in the at night, for me, um, I always get to experience the coldest part because it's usually the time I'm getting off of work at 6 in the morning before the sun comes out because we don't do the rollback. So right around 5:30 to 6:30 is probably the coldest um, that it gets, and it only drops into the high 40s. It doesn't once in a while. Well, no, that's not true. It'll dip into the like 34 because it'll ignite the warning sign in my vehicle that says the possible frozen road. But it doesn't get any colder than that, and it's only for maybe a couple of hours, and then it immediately starts warming up as soon as the sun comes out. 30 here in Speedo weather. I can see that, Mike. I was in Texas last Christmas walking my dog in shorts and t-shirt. Got some strange looks. Yeah, especially if you're anybody that lives where it actually freezes. If standing water freezes, it's cold. If you're getting snow, it's cold. Although I used to think that automatically, but when I lived in northern Nevada, there's some days that doesn't make any sense where it's snowing, but it doesn't feel that cold. So I don't know. I only lived there for a short time though. Let's see. Any of you guys like Jose that's out there in Jersey and New York? Yeah, you guys are that's cold. That's cold. You guys are freezing out there. They were calling 70, 73 highs. Yeah, I was watching at the forecast yesterday of all things, and it seems like regions of the country, like I think Denver, they were scared because this time of the year it was going to be like in the high 70s, and they're like, "What the hell's going on? You love ice fishing, Jorge? We drive our trucks right on the ice. I've seen people do that. You guys are nuts. I used to watch the show Ice Roads, I think that's what it was called on the Discovery Channel. Man, these guys are driving these big rig trucks, and you can hear the ice snapping and cracking, and they're driving like whatever. I was like, no, ain't gonna happen. 18 in northern Nevada, the coldest weather that I have ever experienced was in Tooele, Utah, or Tooele, and I was out there stationed for about a year at the a munitions depot that's out there, and they had us on these Connex containers, and they build like a little, I don't know what do you want, like a 10 by 10 plywood shack that was supposed to be outlook post around the perimeter of the base. This is obviously after 9/11, and I remember we used to have these little propane heaters that they kind of these little shacks didn't have any insulation to begin with. They were just literally 3/4 ply, maybe not even 3/4, maybe half-inch plywood on studs, and some cutouts where they put some just regular cheap old windows. I remember it used to be so cold that we used to have water bottles, and we would put them on the window seal just to see them freeze. That's how cold they would get there. But we did have this little propane tank heater that we would turn on, and we'd run it through the night and just keep us warm enough where we wouldn't freeze our butts. We wouldn't freeze to death. Hey, Brian, thanks for being here. M&C, how you doing, Mike? Who else is kind of snuck in here that I didn't catch? And I remember one particular night, and I don't know if it was the winter, obviously, and I think it was around Christmas time. Um, I had never experienced weather below um 20 degrees. Now, up in that point, I don't think I had experienced, maybe because uh, I think I had, um, but that night it dropped down to like 2 degrees. And I remember it was like maybe it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I remember we were sitting in a little outlook post, and we had the heater on, and it was, if we didn't check it like before we got off shift, we could run into the possibility that we would run out of propane in the tank. So we would always, before we would leave our shifts, make sure to see how heavy the canister felt. And if it felt like it was like a little bit on the light side, we would obviously, take it with us to change it out, or notify the oncoming guys that they needed to bring a propane tank. But I remember that night we checked our tank, and it almost felt full. It was like really heavy. And I remember we were sitting there, we were just talking, and around 3 o'clock in the morning, I remember all of a sudden you could normally see when you spoke like a light mist from the heat, but and then it would dissipate real quick. And I remember we were talking back and forth, and it started feeling really, really cold, and you could feel like this blanket dropping over us, like really, really cold. And we started talking, we had the same, um, you know, uh, cloud of moisture, that you make, like the fog or whatever. But this time it looked like almost if we were smoking one of my cigars, and I would exhale, and you see that big thick plume of smoke. It looked like that, and it wasn't dissipating quite as quick. We're going, what the hell? And we thought, the heater must have gone out. And we looked over, and we could see the glow of the burner reflecting on the ground, on the bottom of the shed. You could see it, the light flickering. So it's like, it's not that. And then it started freezing to the point where we're sitting there. We thought maybe it wasn't turned all the way up, so we went and turned it up, and you couldn't really feel, if you got more than a couple of feet away from that heater, you couldn't feel that radiating heat anymore. So I remember for the last 2 hours, instead of sitting up by the window where we're supposed to be, looking out, we were huddled up against that little propane, literally with our jackets kind of, making a little tent around this thing just to keep the heat. And come to find out, I think we had gone down to like zero, or somewhere in there, like either one or two, from 2 degrees to zero. And I had never experienced that. And I remember that freaked me out. because I thought we were gonna freeze our butts off in that little shed. Luckily, it was only a couple of hours, and then our relief came in because we were working like 12-hour shifts, and we've never been happier to see the Humvee pull up, and we were ready to get out of there. It was bad. But that was only that one night. After that, it didn't get down that low anymore, and it wasn't too bad. In honor of those close friends who have lost life yesterday in a bad wreck. Oh, sorry to hear that, man. If anyone has told you today, what? Okay. Feliz Navidad. Hey, Luis, how you doing? Um, so okay, that was Aquatic and Exotics. We still got a few more to go. I better speed up because we still have four more to do. The next one is pretty interesting. Guess this gentleman is out of Carolina. I thought he was out of San Diego because I saw him wearing uh, a T-shirt from one of the local casinos, and I immediately got excited because I thought he was in the San Diego area, but no, he told me he's out in one of the Carolinas, and that's Checkmate Customs. How does he spell it? Checkmate. Oh, it's going to be a capital C. I think before, if I'm not mistaken, the channel was called Rocky Messiah, and then he changed it to this. And this is I like some of the stands that he's building, because he's maybe customs with an S. Yeah, there it is. This is the channel. He This channel is definitely a DIY, and his videos I like because he takes you through the entire process. They're long videos. They're going to be long videos, but he takes you through the entire process of everything that he's doing in his fish room. This is this is the type of channel that most of us that are building a fish room wish we had done, because he's going project by project and showing you everything that he's doing, the entire process. And I think that's really valuable if you're trying to learn how to build stuff or you're trying to get ideas, um, that he's willing to do that. Take the time to be able to share that stuff with you. And this one, I believe Aquafunk is the one that brought this channel to my attention. And then somebody else mentioned it. Um, but he's got where was the one that I was watching? He builds a lot of his own tanks. I think most of the well, that's why it's called customs, because he's building a lot of these tanks. But what's really neat, and let me see if I can find that video. He's got multiple aquariums in one stand, and I thought that was like really cool because he takes advantage of all, instead of having like dead space. Is this the one that I was watching? Let me see, like get past the uh well, I mean, he might show them off here, but every build that he does has multiple. He even built a nano wood fiberglass tank. That's what it is. But it's really cool. He's got this really cool stand that's got a where is it? This one right here. He's got a paludarium on one side. He has I think it's like a 50 or 60 gallon tank on the front side of the stand, and then he's got like 120 or 200 gallon um on top, and he built the entire thing himself. Uh I guess he's got a lot of cichlids and turtles, and I think the turtles are his wife's. His wife lives. See, this is the stand that I'm talking about. It's like a 200 gallon on top with the back sump on it, and he's got all these plants growing out of the top. And he has the entire process of building that aquarium on his channel. So it's a really neat channel if you're really trying to learn how to do stuff, get ideas. Um, I love that he takes advantage of every single space on this stand to make sure that he maximizes the most of it and make it look nice. That's the other thing. It looks finished. You're not just not like my shit that I build, the racks that I built, where it's just 2x4s, and he takes the time to finish them up so that they look like little pieces of furniture in his fish room, which I always appreciate that when people take the effort to really make something look nice. So I thought that's really really cool, something that he's doing in his fish room. All the projects that he's done, he shows you how he cuts his glass, everything, and he documents it. Something that a lot of us, or at least I never did, uh, because I always used to say, well, somebody knows how to do this better." But I like his because his is different from the normal tank stand. Um, Again, he's trying to make it look as nice as possible. There was one for a while there. Let me see if I find that video where he was doing some rock inlays using epoxy. That I thought it was like really really cool project that he was working on, and I think that's the one that Funk had said me, yeah, this one right here. It's the plywood tank build. It's for the 120. So where did it go? Where did he put it? I think it must have been the backdrop. But he was it just I just find it interesting to put it up and watch it all play out. Yeah, this is the one where he's got wood and rocks and all that and inlaid it all in in epoxy. And I don't know if this was to be the back wall, one of the side walls, a feature piece, or just the tabletop of the aquarium. But I just all the work that he puts into his projects is the stuff that I really find interesting. He builds his own tanks, obviously, uses some of the glass tube for panels. I mean, again, it's a channel that if you're trying to learn how to build stuff, he takes you step by step and shows you the entire process. So the videos tend to be a little bit on the longer side just because of that. Um, and I know that they have turtles and he has got the cichlids. I believe his wife is the one that's into the turtles, and they had I'm not very familiar, but I didn't know what he meant. I thought it was kind of like a joke when he said chicken turtle. I was like, what is that? I thought he said it was a stand for chickens and turtles. So I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. But it turns out it's actually a species of, I had to look it up. I had to look it up and I found out that it was a species of turtles. And then they have like, I guess, this really long neck. And that's why they're called chicken turtles. But all right. So he has 736 subscribers as of right now, 319 videos. Um, when I found his channel, he had 476. Um, he is, like I said, in the States. And just because I was being nosy, I found out that he's in the Carolinas. So he's on the East Coast. Uh, so he's got a love for aquarium life and for building custom aquariums, ponds, for hatching turtles and breeding fish. The channel is about the love and care for animals and creating a better world for aquatic life that brings us such joy and happiness. That's true. That's why we do it. Channel, I don't know if this is actually when this channel started. Again, it used to have a different name, and I think I found it under Rocky Messiah. Um, but the oldest video on here is 10 months ago. So I don't know if he had a different content on this channel, and this is kind of like a rebranding of the channel. Um, Maybe someday I'll be able to talk to him and find that out. But yeah, this is another channel that I found that I thought was really, really cool just because of the type of projects that he's doing and the fact that he really gives you that in-depth look as to how to do it. The last one I saw, he was building a enclosure for the water pump. This video is like a couple days ago, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. This is 3 days ago, and that's for the new stand that he's building for the turtles, for his wife's turtles. He's also has some tortoises because they're outdoors. But yeah, it's just I don't know. I'm kind of a dork, and I find this stuff interesting. Figured some of you guys might also enjoy this kind of stuff. So um, that's Checkmate Custom Aquariums is the name of the channel. Let me put them up here so that you guys can see that. Again, the links for these channels you will find in the description of this video, and the hyperlinks should be active, so they should be able to take you directly to the channels. So that's that one. The next one that I want to talk about is Fish Factory. This is kind of cool. It's like many of us, it's somebody else that's uh wanting to set up a business. Really, that's what he's doing. He's all in on um on building this fish room out, and he kind of walks you through his whole little story and why he's doing it, and which I can appreciate. And that's the Fish Factory, which is also the name of the business. He's still in the process of building out the fish room, but he really does talk about um why he's doing it, how he's doing it. A lot of his videos have been informative videos on species and stuff like that. Some of the stuff that he's been learning across in the process. Um, his girlfriend, I guess, once in a while will make an appearance. Uh, it's funny because you could tell they get along. Like the heading on this one, mansplaining fish science to my girlfriend. And how he's always talking about how he wants to convince her to become a fish enthusiast. So it's interesting. Yeah, it's somebody that's trying to really make this, I guess, big, and make it his full time hustle. He was when I started watching him, he was in the process of building out like a shed that he had out in the backyard, and kind of going through the process of making it suitable for his fish room. So that's what he's been doing. Again, he's I don't know. I think the only thing that he's been shipping as of right now are shrimp. But he does talk in this last video that he wants to try and start shipping out actual fish now. He did pick up some celestial pearl Daniels, and I asked him because I don't know if he mentioned the name of the. I think he just said somebody on eBay, but these celestial pearl Daniels are probably some of the nicest ones that I've seen for sale in quite some time. Let me see if I can bring them up. It's towards the end of the video. Yeah, a little bit more. Oh, here we go. Just the coloration and the body on these. I don't most of the stuff that I come across at stores definitely do not look like this. And I was really impressed. Whoever's breeding these is really doing a good job. Maybe some of you guys have seen some nicer ones. I haven't had the fortune of coming across anything that looks remotely like that. Um, and I was like, dude, who did you buy them from? I don't think he's responded to that video yet because this was last night. Um, but just the orange on these fins and the deep golden color on the flaking of that fish. To me, it seems to pop. Maybe you guys have seen some that are way better than that. That just goes to show the lack of quality that I've been able to come across. But yeah, and I better hurry up because Kyle's about to go on. So let me wrap this up pretty quick. Is because he goes on at 10 o'clock. I got 5 minutes to go through the other channels. So that's his small times. He's here. Make sure you guys go check out his channel. He's pretty much sharing you what he's doing with his aquariums. Small time, if you're here, how many tanks do you have? I think I see maybe like two at least. I don't know if you got more than two though. But this is small time tanks right here. Right now, currently, he's got 130 subscribers, 106 videos, and this is he's just sharing you the day to day. I think him and Skull Aquatics would get along fine because he likes a lot of these little skulls and skeletons. Um, you'll see him in his tanks where he has multiple skulls. So yeah, I think this is Curtis's long lost brother, because almost in every video he's got a something to do with a skull related or remains. But yeah, he's just kind of going around showing you what he's doing with his tanks, what he's been experiencing, um, different things that he's been doing. This is him right here. Uh, he was joking about earlier that he doesn't do live streaming because he's got a face for radio or something to that effect. But where is he? It's probably not. Oh, he just used it for the thumbnail. Yeah, I guess so. But I thought I seen him in some other videos. I could have sworn I seen him in some other. I think the latest ones he's actually kind of be stepping out more in front of the camera. Yeah, there it is. That's him. That's small time tanks. And again, this is just a true hobbyist sharing what's going on with his tanks and that sort of stuff. Um, I see him pop up in a lot of our chats. Um, so he supports a lot of us. The least we could do is turn around and support him also. Make sure that you go check out his channel. I don't think he has much in the description, way in the description. Yeah, that's what I remembered. He's definitely here stateside. Which part of the country? I'm not sure. Um, Says here he started up this channel in 2022 based off of the videos. Let me see what's the latest. The oldest video is from about 2 years ago. So he started up the channel and then just kind of eventually started posting stuff. So if you guys haven't seen his channel, go check it out. Make sure you go give him a like on his videos, and if you like what he's doing, make sure you guys sub to him and get the notifications turned on for whenever he puts out content. All right, so the last one is mountaintop fish, but he spells it different. It doesn't have the N, I don't think. Mountaintop top fish, and it might be a lowercase m. Yeah. Wait, is it not coming up? Mountaintop. Oh, okay, that's why. It's 1597. There we go. Mountaintop fish. Mountaintop Fish has 281 subscribers, 307 videos. So he's been pretty busy putting out videos. Uh, this is why okay. This is why I really found it interesting. Uh, Mountaintop Fish it began in 1976. Fifth grade teacher had a Metaframe aquarium and said I could have one of those. So again, here's a teacher that inspired a student to get into the hobby. The metal frame aquariums are interesting because that's what I started out with. It was a 10-gallon metal frame aquarium, and so now he started when he was 12 years old, and he's kind of sharing the experiences of as to what he's been doing. He still has that 10-gallon metal frame. That is pretty impressive. That is really impressive. So, you know, they've got again, it's just another hobby. It's just kind of sharing what they're doing in their fish room, some of the things that they've been working on. Does some that's other related content. I guess he's into doing body work or mechanics. Um, and just, kind of like another vlog channel that sharing uh their their ongoings in the fish room, their aquariums, some of the different projects they're working with, and just sharing with you some of their information. This is a channel that I didn't really get a chance to take a full dive like I like to. Um, I know this channel might have popped up in one of the comments, and that's how I kind of found them. But yeah, those are the 7 channels I wanted to bring you guys today. That's the last one. I believe Outside in Aquatics is starting or just started. So make sure you guys go over there. I would send you over there, but I don't know how to do that. And I think you got to program it in here. I still have metal frames. Yeah. Oh wow. Did you have the ones with the slate bottoms, or did you come in with the glass ones? Uh, so uh, I had the one with the slate, and that sucker was super heavy. With that being said, I want to wish you guys a very Merry Christmas, and hopefully we'll see each other before the end of the year. I think I'm going to try to get a couple of more of these a sleigh bottom. Yeah, those suckers are really heavy. For a 10-gallon, you're surprised how heavily they are. How heavy they are. Uh, Go check out Outside in Aquatics, and I'll see you guys over there. I'm definitely going over there myself. So you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and have a very, very Merry Christmas. You guys take care. Love you. Bye bye.